Greetings, everyone. I am Ewaenruwa Nomaren from Pays to Fear God, and this video is another episode of Verse Breakdown. The verse for today is Philippians chapter 3, verse 14, which reads, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Jesus Christ. To press toward the mark has to do with you paying attention to that. Your heart going towards that. That's what you like doing. That's what you enjoy. That's what you worry about. That's what you focus on in your life. And St. Paul was essentially saying God and his prize, if you read that 1 Corinthians chapter 9, from verses 24 to 27, is what I focus on, and that's what occupies my time and my life. If you read Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5, Moses had told the Israelites that we have to love God with all our heart, soul, and might. He wasn't asking for some absurd thing that is God. No, it's just that idea of focusing on his plan. We shouldn't be minding other people's businesses. All our time goes to what other people are doing. If you read 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 15, we shouldn't be worrying about the things of the world. Be careful for nothing. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6. We should not be looking back if we're Christians and we're converted to the faith. We shouldn't be looking back, always thinking about what we might have been missing from the world because we've come to God. No, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. For if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Rather, we have to focus on what God is doing and never go to what James calls the superfluity of naughtiness. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word which is able to save your souls. James chapter 1, verse 21. What was he talking about? Those things in this world that don't matter. Food, money, in the sense of just things that God can take care of. Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. That is what is occupying our time. If we look at St. Paul's life, that verse, Philippians chapter 3, verse 14, was really out of context because that was what his life was about. That was what he was focusing on. If we look at his life prior to his conversion in Acts chapter 9, he was thinking about how to persecute Christians. That was his general goal in life because, of course, he was employed to do that and stuff. But now, he was living a peaceful life, though he was getting beaten up and stuff, and he was focusing on doing his job of being an apostle from the grace of God. If you read 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 10, and he came to love himself for doing such a thing. Jesus Christ is no different. He wasn't focused on what the Pharisees were doing, what the Jews were doing, what they thought about him, like the disciples were reminding him in Matthew chapter 15, verse 12. That was none of his real concern. Rather, he was thinking about what his Father would be thinking about him. Oh, am I in the correct position? Am I saying what he wants me to say? Giving him a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. John chapter 12, verse 49. Am I in line? Am I following instructions? We should never imitate the Israelites because they were rescued by God into being holy. If we read Exodus chapter 19 in verses 4 and 5, but they went backward. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. They went back to the kind of idolatry and stuff that was going on because they did not focus on what God wanted them to focus on. They were focusing on what the Gentiles were doing, wanting to be like them. If we read that for Samuel chapter 8 and verses 19 and 20. And remember, your focus and love cannot be in two places. Matthew chapter 6 verse 24 and Luke chapter 16 verse 13. Therefore, we have to keep our eye on the ball. We have to focus on God's principles because that is the way to peace. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. And that is where I intend to stop on discussing the verse Philippians chapter 3, verse 14, which once again reads, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Jesus Christ. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you have a verse that you want us to explain, drop it in the comment section below, and maybe it will make a new video that we'll produce in the future. Thank you.